There are lots of reasons that small business owners love using Enji to plan their marketing and get it done. But when a systems expert loves it, I take that as a real compliment. Because folks who love systems and are real nerds about the software that they use can be the hardest to please. And that's why someone like Amy using Enji and loving it is one of the ultimate testimonials. So if you're someone who loves online tools, judges them pretty hard, and is curious to see how a brain like yours feels about Enji and how they actually find it to be useful, then this conversation with Amy is going to show you a lot. Because Amy is a systems strategist for wedding and creative pros, and she is all of those things. She loves tools, she judges them hard, and she has high expectations for how they actually help her get the work done.
Hi, I'm Amy Pearson, and I help wedding professionals automate the back end of their business so they can spend less time on admin and more time doing the amazing things that they do for their clients. And I'm really excited to be here to chat with Taylor today all about Engie and the things that I've been able to do in my business with Engie.
I'm so thankful that you were willing to have this conversation because, you know, not everyone, I mean, you're a systems person, so I think you get it, but not everybody is super amped to talk about like their systems in detail on the greater internet. So thank you very much for being one of those folks. So I have just a couple questions for you that I think help people understand, okay, well, what is it that NG can actually help me do in like a very real world sort of way? And so my first question for you is all about how you plan your marketing in NG, more from the strategic standpoint, because that's, in my experience, a piece that a lot of people are skipping or miss. And so just talk to me about how you use NG to set your strategy and the direction of your marketing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I usually sit down and kind of figure out what my theme is or what I'm focusing on this month. And I do that sort of ahead of time, all thanks to you and a YouTube video I saw you put out a while ago. And so I start with the blog post because a lot of my content is repurposed from the blog posts. And I will go into NG and kind of pop in the blog post ideas with the ahead of time because if I try to do this all at once, it's overwhelming. But the kind of the title, the key points, hopefully some search engine words and terms that I'm planning to focus on and kind of dump everything in there and figure out like, sort of what that post is about. And I do that all at once on those 4 weeks. And then I come back later and write the blog posts and then repurpose them using the content repurposer inside NG to use it for Instagram and once a month, I throw in a LinkedIn post just to sort of keep it sort of there. And um, oh yeah, and I use it to write the newsletter for my business as well, because I have an email list. So
Sweet.
I use that to kind of help. That's the short version of how I do it. I don't know. If you want me to go into more detail, I'll do
Yeah.
that. But
No, so you're looking at your marketing in like 4 week or month long chunks of time in general. Is that right?
yeah, like I plan out the blog posts
Yeah.
and then I go back and do kind of 1 week at a time. I keep trying to batch content, but it's a bit overwhelming. So usually my brain runs out of mojo before I ever get through more than a week's worth of stuff at once. So
Nobody blames you for that. I mean, creating content like a lot at once is can turn even the best of us into the melty face emoji. So it is not an experience that is unique to you. It's like it just requires, even if you're using the AI copywriter to create first drafts of things, it still takes mental energy to review it, right? To read it through and make sure it's actually saying what you want it to say and like adding in your own bits to it. So, if that in and of itself, just getting like a week's worth of content batched at a time is still an incredibly helpful thing to do because then I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming then that that minimizes how much marketing you're doing on the fly, right? Like waking up one day and maybe saying, "Oh, I'm going to spend 15 minutes on threads today," and maybe write something, right? Like your blog post is already done and the core has been repurposed so that you don't have to think about it every single day that you wake up to do your work.
Yeah, and I love that I can also repurpose the blog into threads. So I usually have a couple of them from there, and those are super simple because I don't usually add anything to it, just the text from
Yeah.
the post. So that's a real quick, easy win. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
did that. There's some stuff on threads.
Yeah,
And then
totally.
if I have time, I go in and start conversations and talk to people on threads and Instagram and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
yeah, it takes a bulk of it off of my mind because I've already done, I can check the box and go, okay, I did the things that I said I was going to do. And that box is checked. And I guess if I have more time and I'm feeling like I should do something else, then I can get in there and do it. But
Yeah, but the baseline is covered, and that's like the whole goal is just to feel like that confidence that the core of what needs to go out is going to go out, and that anything that you do on top of that is like extra credit, right? Because, and there are weeks that we have the capacity and the energy to do a bunch of extra credit, and then there are weeks where we're like, nope, just like what I planned and what I scheduled is the only thing that's going to go out. And that's totally fine because at least something is still going out. So when you are scheduling content, so you're doing the planning for like a 4 week chunk, you're writing, you're batching your work and scheduling it more in like a weekly sort of cadence. Um, so do you mind showing us your calendar so we can sort of see
yeah,
what your recurring, I'm so
yeah,
curious
let me hop
what your
over
repeating
there.
tasks are.
Oh, there are repeating tasks and we can talk about that.
Yes.
I'm looking for the share screen button. Um,
Sometimes it's under more,
allow
sometimes
and
it's
share.
middle.
So did it
Cool.
go there? Can you see it?
Yep, yep. Okay, so I have to ask, what is Miracle
Okay.
Hour? Because that is something that you're doing every day.
Yeah, and it's something I heard a podcast about and I thought it was a good idea. So, the good idea fairy struck. And I added this in and it's kind of like I start 5 conversations and follow 5 people and then go look through other conversations that I've had and continue the conversation, which has been helpful because I forget to follow up on conversations. And so this makes me go back and look and go, oh yeah, I was talking to this person about um, maybe something random like the wedding that they were shooting that weekend or
Yeah.
something else, and they answered me back. So I'm going to go back and talk to them, or I'm going to circle back to clients and check in with them to see how they're doing. So the thought process, it's a book called Miracle Hour.
Hmm.
And the idea is to move people closer to booking a call or following up on proposals that you've sent and someone hasn't booked yet.
Yeah.
So some things that are directly related to income. And I
Yeah.
thought it was a good idea. And I have a spreadsheet for tracking it that's
Cool.
linked in here. I thought I had actually the subtasks in Miracle Hour, but apparently I did. I think what happened is I accidentally deleted the recurring task and had to
Oh, and
recreate
then you
it
built it.
and never went
All
back and
good.
put the sub.
But that's very cool. Like just looking at your account, I can see most of your time is actually spent on, or I won't say most, but there's a lot of time that's being spent on basically PR, right? This Miracle Hour is a mix of PR because it's like public outreach where you might be starting conversations with brand new people that you don't quite know yet or following up. And then I see that you have podcast pitching in here and then pitching guest blog posts. So I love to see this. And then I can see also like the mix of, on Fridays scheduling your email newsletters. And that's super, super rad. Thank you for sharing your calendar with us because I love to see how other
You're
people's
welcome.
Angie's calendars look. Um, will
Yeah,
you?
usually I come in here and I'm like, I should clean this up.
I think that looks pretty clean. I think that looks pretty clean. Whatever works for your brain, right? So my next question for you is about how
Mhm.
you're using marketing campaigns and if you're using marketing campaigns, because I do know that that concept, like calling it a marketing campaign, is something that Enji is introducing a lot of folks to because they never used to think about marketing in like campaigns or projects. And so, do you use that feature at all?
Yeah, I have used that feature. I don't have any campaigns going right now, but in fact, I should have used it because I was helping someone with promote their book that was re-releasing, and I realized that was a multi-day campaign,
Mm.
and campaigns were not something I was ever aware of before NG, and it's really helpful to see how something that I've chosen to do to boost marketing or boost sales is giving me a return on investment. So for several things, I know when I went to Wedding MBA, I tracked kind of what I did and um, I what kind of came out of that, although some things were maybe further down the line as far
Yeah.
as when I was going to see a result from that. So it was hard to track,
Yeah. But
but I
sometimes
really like
at
that feature.
least,
I think it's cool.
yeah. Yeah. And that is always that's
And
one
I
of
like going in there when I'm like, I need to do something. Oh, I'm sorry. I
it's
think
all
there was a
good.
delay.
Yeah. It's all good. Um, I was gonna say that that is one of the just like forever challenges of marketing is a lot of what we do has this delayed effect, right? Like so you came to Wedding MBA,
Mhm.
Amy actually spent time working in the NG booth, which is so fantastic to have her there so that, folks who were interested in learning about NG didn't just have to get like the super biased story from the founder. Like they could talk to someone who actually uses it. But whenever you're doing stuff there's often an immediate effect, but then there's, like I said, that delayed reaction. And so when it comes to marketing campaigns, I actually sometimes go back, even like long past a campaign being over, because if I see that, we got a few more subscribers from an event that happened 3 months ago, and I clearly can track that, then I'll go and add that to the targets in the campaign so that I'm giving my future self like the most up-to-date information about what I got out of that effort, right? Because it is always extra effort when we're planning marketing campaigns. So speaking of numbers and tracking results, I know that you celebrate KPI Day with us, and that always makes me happy because this is one of those like really healthy habits that I'm trying to instill in folks by means of NG. And so, do you look at, I mean, I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but do you look at your numbers every single month on around KPI Day? And then, what are the charts that you find yourself going to sort of more often than others because those are the ones that you just go like, oh, these are going to help me make decisions about my future marketing.
Yeah, I definitely do celebrate KPI day, and I'm in there usually on the first or pretty close to it. Sometimes it's like the Monday following the first, and I go in and track kind of revenue, what came in, and um, how many discovery calls I had, and how many bookings came out of that, and those numbers as far as like financial numbers. But then I also look at, okay, well, what's the website doing and what is the bounce rate on that? And are the things that I tried to take action on last month with the website, did they change anything? Did it get better? Did it get worse? So, and I know I love looking at the the Instagram, well, the posts. It's not
Mm.
necessarily Instagram, but your best and worst posts. And I cringe because the one that's the worst post was one of the ones I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then it's like the worst post, and I'm like, well,
I know we all have content like that. I definitely have I have at least a half dozen like Instagram posts that I thought I was like, this, people are gonna eat this up, and then it's on my worst performing post list. So, again, we all experience the same things. It's like totally normal stuff. But yeah, the insights, like the content insights, for me are super, super helpful just for that gut check of like, hey, what actually is like landing with people and what's not? Because that is, like you said, it's a really good, like tangible thing to see and go, even though I really liked it, like the algorithm didn't like it or the people didn't like it. And so maybe I shouldn't do that again. And then on the flip side, seeing the stuff that you're like, maybe if you're anything like me, Amy, like sometimes our best performing content is like the stuff I put almost no effort into. And then it actually does something, which seems so ironic. So I'm glad it's always good to know that we have similar experiences. So, well, thank you so much for sharing like a little bit about how you use NG and showing us your calendar. And I'm so glad that you're focused on PR because I get to see some of the content that you're, or like the podcasts that you're on because we follow some of the same people. And so I saw you were on uh, what's the title of it? It's Kevin Dennis's podcast, right?
Oh, mind your wedding business.
Yes, Mind Your Wedding Business. I saw a bunch of clips that he had shared from that. So I always love seeing your face and what you're doing out in the real world, like taking it from a task on your NG calendar to pitch a podcast, and then here's Amy on a podcast. So that's super super rad. Well, if anybody is interested in learning more about what you do on the system side of things, or they want to connect with you, what are the best places for them to find you on the internet?
Oh, they can find me on amysgould.com, and my Instagram is systems_for_creatives.
Awesome.
And if you have comments or questions from this, I'd feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I'm always happy to chat systems and NG and anything.
Awesome. I appreciate that so much. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to have this chat. And I know I will see you on the internet. A system that is really going to help you get a job done needs to be easy to set up and easy to use over and over and over and over again. You know that. Because if it's not, the system can actually slow you down. But helping you do your own marketing faster and more strategically is exactly what NG is for and can help you do when you're doing your own marketing. You can start your free 14-day trial at ng.co. I also have the link in the video description to see exactly how NG's marketing project management tools work and how they can help you streamline getting your own marketing done consistently.